Hey guys, welcome back to another DAYZ video. Today I wanted to go over a few crafting tips. The crafting in DAYZ is way underrated, so I wanted to show you guys a couple early game methods to get some food, to get some bags, and ideally stay out of harm's way early on while you start to gear up. So the first thing you want to do obviously is get your knife. The knife's going to be key to pretty much everything you do, so get your knife and go find some clothes to cut up because you want to make some rags. So depending on what you cut up, you'll get a different amount of rags, but you need 12 rags to make a rope. And we're going to start with the rope and a couple of our crafting tips. If you can't find a knife, you can make a knife. You can make it from the bones of an animal, but if you don't have a knife already, it'd be hard to cut it up. You might have to find some laying around, or also if you can find a stone, the small stone will spawn where players have been, and you can get the stone, bang it up against a big rock, and you can make yourself a small stone knife. Alright, so now once you get your knife there and you've got your rags cut up, you can make your rope. Just combine 6 rags with another stack of 6 rags, and you'll make your rope there. Now the rope, to save some inventory space early on, can be tied into a belt if you don't already have one. And you can also store a knife. You can't store every kind of knife though. Only a few of them will fit there, but it should clear you up some inventory space early on in your game. Alright, one more note on with the rags is really the only 2 pieces of gear that I've found that are real helpful would be the gloves, and that's if you're going to cut up some meat and don't want to get blood on your hands. And then of course the feet there will help you from getting cuts on your feet and walk a little bit more quiet. Once you've got your rope, get yourself a long stick and you make yourself a fishing pole there. Alright, and then you can also use a short stick, combine that with your knife, and you can make an improvised wooden hook. There we go, and then you're going to want to make sure you get your worms. Just use your knife, dig them up from the ground, and you should be ready to fish. Alright, now you can fish on any body of water. Obviously, if you're on the coast, it's right there for you. But one of the best things about fishing is that you can find small creeks and you can stay out of the way, stay kind of silent, and get all the food that you need. But there we go, we've got our fish. And we'll move on to my favorite kind of a trap here, and this is the snare trap. It does take metal wire, but you find it laying around a lot of the sheds and stuff through the cities. So you can make a snare trap there, and then you can just go put it in the woods wherever you want. And yep, right about there. And then come back and check it a little while later, and it will randomly spawn food for you. So it looks like we've got a red fox here. Alright, the next kind of trap that we'll talk about is going to be the fish bottle trap. If you can find a plastic bottle early on, mix it with your knife and you can make a fish trap. Now I will say you probably want to put this a little ways out. I've tried it a few different times. I haven't had a lot of luck with it right on the coast. You do need to get a worm and bait the trap with the worm. But get it out there in the water and then come back a little while later and you will have dinner. Alright, so there is one more kind of a fish trap here. This one is going to require that you have netting and wire. So this one's a little bit harder maybe to make, but it works similar to the bottle fish trap. You'll put it out in the water. Again, how far out I'm not exactly sure, but you don't want other people to see it. And you want to make sure you catch your fish. So get it out there. You might have to get a little wet, but got to do what you got to do. All right, so we're going to move on to some bags now. The early bag that I like to make is the burlap bag. And if you find a burlap sack, you just mix it with the rope, and you'll be able to make your first bag there. All right, and then if you can mix it with some small sticks, you can upgrade the bag, and it will go from 30 slots to 35. And you make the backpack there. All right, now the next kind of bag that we have here is going to be made from boar pelt, and it specifically has to be boar pelt. So you might not always be able to craft this bag, but it's going to work very similar to the burlap sack. It's the fur courier bag and the fur courier backpack, and it's the same method there. You get your pelt, you mix it with rope, and you'll have the first primary bag, mix it with small sticks, and then of course you'll move on to the bigger backpack. right, so these keep a low profile. I do like these bags. These are one of my favorites. I'll actually pass up on a lot of other bags along the way if I've got one of these. So no reason not to get started right away making one. And then the last kind of bag is going to be the leather bag. You can make this from any other kind of pelt, including board pelt. But after you get your pelt, you will need to find some lime. Again, lime will be found in some of the sheds and some of the storage stuff around the little small towns. But when you find your lime, mix it with your pelt and you'll get leather. And there'll be one last little thing. You don't mix this one with rope or with sticks. You're gonna have to mix this with a leather repair kit. So if you don't have one handy, these are usually found in houses. And when you come across one, just mix it with the leather and you'll have yourself a leather bag. Now this one does have more storage than the other two backpacks that we've explained. So this is one of the premier bags. If you can make it, I definitely recommend it. The profile is still low and still slim. The color's decent and camouflages in pretty well. So one of my favorite bags here too. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys. These are just some of the beginner tips for crafting. We'll post some more advanced ones a little later down the road, but we hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.